You are not crazy for thinking the world feels like it's coming apart at the seams. The trick is that a lot of what looks like collapse is actually the old operating system trying to run new software. Stay with me, because once you see the pattern, you stop feeling helpless and start seeing where the doors are. Hello, my name is Gene. I'm building a club to help people navigate our AI cultural revolution. It is Guildrim. We will master the new AI tools, support people displaced by the machine, and lead them into the cybernetic future. Our topic today is why it feels like the world is falling apart. Let's begin. For most of modern life, the rules were written for a world where work was scarce, information moved slowly, and expertise lived in people's heads like it paid rent. AI is a machine for making certain kinds of expertise cheap, fast, and oddly cheerful about working weekends. That kind of shift does not arrive politely. When a technology hits the economy at that scale, it scrambles job ladders first. Entry level roles are the easiest to automate or compress because they were built around routine cognitive tasks and learning by doing. The result is a career staircase with missing steps, which is a fun design choice for anyone under 30. That's also why the conversations feel so tense. People are sensing that the bargain has changed, even if they can't name the clause. The World Economic Forum is blunt about churn, big displacement, big creation, and lots of awkward years in the middle where your resume has to learn new manners. Managers talk about productivity, the way medieval peasants talked about dragons, with fear and a little hope that someone else will handle it. Some layoffs are real displacement. Some are what you might call costume drama, where AI gets blamed for budget decisions that were already in the oven. Meanwhile, governments are trying to regulate a moving target, which is like writing traffic laws while the cars are still being invented. The EU AI Act is a serious attempt to draw boundaries around risk, and it's rolling out in phases because even regulators prefer not to trip on their own shoelaces. On the ground, small and mid-sized businesses are already using generative AI, often in the least glamorous ways imaginable. Drafting, customer responses, filling skill gaps, speeding up back office work. That is where the shift becomes irreversible, because it stops being a lab toy and becomes a habit. If the labor market is the first tremor, information is the rolling aftershock. Generative tools can produce convincing text, audio, and video at scale, which changes the economics of persuasion. NIST flags misinformation, deepfakes, and provenance problems as core risks because reality now needs receipts. That lands in a society already tired and suspicious. Pew has found that huge majorities of Americans think the two sides can't even agree on basic facts, which makes every disagreement feel like a religious schism with worse music. AI does not create that problem, it accelerates it. Elections add their own spice. Tracking work after the big 2024 election year found the nightmare scenario of an unstoppable deepfake tsunami did not fully materialize. But the broader story is still that AI tools are now a standard part of influence attempts. The ceiling rose, even if it didn't collapse yet. All of this is happening while the physical world keeps sending invoices. Climate extremes are rising, and the IPCC has been clear about escalating risks from warming and extremes. In the US, NOAA tallied $27 billion disasters in 2024 alone, which is a very expensive way to learn humility. Supply chains, the thing everyone forgot existed until it stopped working, are strained by conflict, climate shocks, and rerouting. UNCTAD has been warning about mounting disruption and higher costs, which means prices wobble and planning becomes a hobby for optimists and liars. Debt is the quiet undertow. The IMF's Global Debt Monitor puts total global debt near $250 trillion in 2023, and World Bank reporting shows developing countries paying record sums to service foreign debt. When finance tightens, politics gets mean, and everyone starts blaming the nearest scapegoat. Now add the cyber layer, because we decided to connect everything to the internet, including things that can explode. CISA keeps documenting pressure on critical infrastructure, and ransomware remains a recurring theme, like a bad sequel that keeps getting funded. A cybernetic future is powerful and also fragile. Even the clean parts of this transition have rough edges. AI runs on electricity, and data centers are already a meaningful slice of global demand. The IEA estimates data centers used around 415 terawatt hours in 2024 and projects steep growth, which means the digital age still depends on the stubborn physics of watts. Central banks are paying attention because they can smell a regime change when it walks into the room. Fed officials have been openly talking about studying AI's economic effects with a mix of curiosity and the cautious tone of someone watching a toddler carry a glass vase. Even measured data hints at the story. U.S. productivity statistics show recent gains in total factor productivity, and economists are debating how much is cyclical versus structural. In plain English, the machine may be making us richer, and we're still arguing about where the money went. Social life is wobbling at the same time, which makes everything feel worse. The Surgeon General's Advisory on Loneliness describes real health and societal costs from isolation. A high-tech society can still be emotionally medieval, with everyone in separate huts, scrolling alone by firelight. So why does it feel like collapse instead of transition? Because transitions break the old status markers. A college degree used to be a reliable signal. A stable job used to be a social anchor. Local media used to act as a shared reference point. When signals degrade, people grasp for identity like it's the last lifeboat. The labor story is not simply robots take jobs. It's that tasks shift inside jobs, and the people who adapt fastest pull ahead. OECD work on generative AI exposure emphasizes task-level change across regions and occupations. That creates a very modern anxiety. You keep your job title, but it quietly becomes a different job. This is also why the culture is getting weird. When information is abundant, attention becomes scarce, and status moves toward performance. Some people respond by becoming more theatrical, others become more paranoid, and a few become oddly serene, which is suspicious in its own way. The information economy rewards intensity. Meanwhile, the real economy keeps rubbing against the digital one. Housing, infrastructure, healthcare, logistics, energy, these don't scale like software. That friction shows up as anger at elites, anger at immigrants, anger at machines, anger at whatever is on the screen. When the world feels tight, politics turns into a cage match. A lot of people reach for a comforting story. Someone caused this. Someone planned this. Someone can reverse this. The boring truth is that complex systems can change phase without a villain twirling a mustache. AI is a general-purpose capability, and general-purpose capabilities rearrange everything they touch. So what is the cybernetic future in plain terms? It's a society where feedback loops tighten, sensors everywhere, models everywhere, automation everywhere, and decision-making moving closer to real time. That can raise living standards, tighten control, or both at once, depending on who holds the levers and how awake the public stays. That future creates winners who learn the tools early, and winners who build trust in a low-trust age. It also creates a premium on community, because when work and identity are unstable, People need real-world belonging that can't be updated out from under them. This is where creatives matter more than they think. So if the world feels like it's falling apart, it may be because you're living through a handoff between eras, and handoffs are always messy. The old world was built for slower change, weaker tools, and longer attention spans. The new world will reward people who stay calm, learn fast, and build something real with others. Creatives are the ones who can craft shared symbols, rituals, aesthetics, and local meaning. When the old mass culture fragments, smaller communities become the unit of stability. AI will flood the zone with content, and that makes taste, curation, and lived experiences more valuable, not less. If this helped, share it with someone who's been doom scrolling like it's their second job. I read every comment, and I want to hear what part of this transition feels most personal to you. Like the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel where we help creatives build community in the age of AI. And until next time, remember, a grand world awaits.